Welcome to Toast on Rise Example Zone. This is part two of my Applied Energistics subnet video, where I show why subnets are cool and why they're important when you have a system like a mob farm. And so I built this mob farm just to demo this, and I thought it was kind of neat. It uses some new mechanics that I was not used to. Um, I'm used to playing a lot of Minecraft 1.12, and as you can see here, this is kind of what I got going on right now. So in this version of Minecraft, they don't have extra utilities, I believe, which used to have a block called the Cursed Earth, and it would spawn a bunch of hostile mobs. In this version, you use mechanical dirt from Industrial Foregoing, and it uses liquid meat and power to spawn mobs, because the previous version had Cursed Earth and it would just spawn mobs, and it was kind of overpowered. This is kind of a cool balance, I think. So this mob crusher from Industrial Foregoing was specifically made just to get items, just to demo this, like I said. In order to spawn mobs, though, you need this stuff. And another interesting complication is there's only one block face exposed in this setup. And so it's tough to put in power and liquid into only one block face when it's exposed. But you can use XNet, advanced connectors, or just basic connectors. You could use Ender IO, but I don't have it in this pack, and I don't even know if it exists for 1.16 yet. But anyways, I like XNet. It's pretty cool. So yeah, this solved my issue of not enough block faces exposed. And over here I have the slaughter factory. So this thing actually makes meat, and it makes pink slime. And meat is what fuels this system. So it's important to have a good supply of it. And what I've done here is I got these two tanks, and I got this controller, and everything's wired together. I have channels set up. And if you're not familiar with XNet, this might seem confusing. I definitely recommend watching some tutorial videos on it. I'll just try to do a bit of a quick rundown. I like to set up XNet in this way, personally. I always put channel 8 as my energy, channel 7 as my fluids, and then the rest of it is just kind of whatever. Usually I use items in these channels, but in this video I'm not moving items with XNet. I'm moving items with E02. So yeah, if you would click on one of these channels, you can pick energy, click create, see how it goes yellow. You can delete a channel. XNet logic is red, and fluids is blue. So yeah, cool thing about XNet is you can, delete a channel like this. I can go Control C on the keyboard, or I could click one of these buttons to copy, and then Control V on the keyboard, or paste. I like the shortcuts. Control V, it just pastes that. So it's really easy to just copy and paste, and then use the arrow keys on the keyboard to go down and paste. It's really slick. So I was able to spam all these mechanical dirts, all 25 of them, these settings. So if we go down here, we're seeing that the creative energy cell is actually exporting energy, and all of these blocks are inputting it. And there's no priorities, there's no rates, it's just default settings. I got the crusher and the slaughter factory are all taking energy. What's cool about the fluid channel... Oh, I left it in the wrong mode. Oh no. There's distribution, there's priority, and I want my fluid to move around based on priority levels. You can have lots of fluids in one channel. You can put in water, lava, liquid meat, pink slime. All you have to do is make sure you set up filters. But this mechanical dirt block, it is smart enough to only accept liquid meat, so you don't have to worry about setting filters. It'll only allow liquid meat to get input into it. So the slaughter factory exports. So every 1 second or 20 ticks, it's going to export pink slime and liquid meat. So all those are going to fill up with liquid meat. And this tank down here has a filter on it. I've used the gauge dropper from Mechanism. It's pretty sweet because it lets you pick up an obscure amount of fluids. You don't need a 1 bucket exactly, or 1,000 millibuckets exactly. You can pick up 34 millibuckets. And the liquid meat tank, I decided to use a bucket. There's really no difference. They both work the same. This one's actually just a little more convenient. You don't have to wait for a full bucket of fluid to show up to set a filter. I hope that made sense. So yeah, this particular liquid channel has a priority of -1. So what's actually happening is I am trying to put most of my liquid into mechanical dirts. But if there's any excess, put it in this buffer tank. This buffer tank here. But it also has another connector on the backside, topside connector, backside connector. And if you're not sure, you can double click on it and it shows you. But what it's doing is exporting every 10 seconds, 1 bucket. It's doing a recirc to try to refill all that stuff. And what else? I have one of these mechanical users, one of the ones right in the middle. If I hover through these, see how this one says main and the rest just say mechanical dirt? Main is actually set up to be priority 5. So I've made it so the one in the middle is the main one, where the rest of them have no name. I thought it might be good to have one in the middle absolutely always be full. And then the rest would be second priority, and last would be here. And I'm not really dealing with pink slime at the moment because pink slime doesn't accumulate very fast, so I'm not really handling that. I'll probably just trash it if it fills this. What else? Energy, fluids. I guess the next part is the logic, which I think is kind of cool. Both of these, the crusher and the slaughter block over there, are set to run with a redstone high. And they've got a tier 9 add-on card, so they're going to kill the complete room when they run. But you'll notice this room is full of mobs. That light is off, and that light is off. And the reason for that is there is exactly that amount of liquid. Oh no, it's still running. There's a reason for that. I tried to build a little bit of a hysteresis into here, but it didn't work. It should be 79, 50, I think. I was trying to build a hysteresis, but I don't know. I didn't want it toggling off and on, but you know what? That's actually too much of a pain. I'll just do this. This is how I had it originally. It cycles between being on and off. So yeah, mini rant over. Sensor. I have a sensor mode on the meat tank right here. So if the fluid is greater than 8 buckets, turn on green. And if the fluid is less than 8 buckets, turn on red. And I put a filter here. It's not really necessary. It would just look at anything. Let's say water got in here. There was more than 8 buckets of water, it would turn on. So I want it to specifically only work if there's liquid meat. Not that I believe water would get in there, but yeah, just an FYI. I should also say I don't fully understand the redstone mode of this XNet logic connector, this channel, because I'm using colors actually to control stuff. It's not actually using redstone. It's turning on green or it's turning on red. So I have redstone mode set to ignored. When I tried to use it, I was getting confused, so I've just stopped. I can see you can do some really complicated stuff because it's like anding. You could turn on different colors like this way. That's kind of a loop. If I did this, these commands wouldn't run unless this was true. But none of that's set, so I'm going to turn them all black. So yeah, let's look at green first. If green is on, let's say we've got lots of liquid meat. If green is on, the crusher, enable. If green is enabled, set the output to basically redstone high, a signal strength of 15. So it turns on a lamp and it turns on the crusher if green is on. So if we look here, we see that green must be on because both of these systems are running because we have more than 8,000 buckets of meat. But if, oh, sorry, got to go at mechanism tank. There we go. If we all of a sudden lost all of our liquid meat, this lamp would turn off and that lamp would turn on and the slaughter factory would resume running. And I'm sure to anybody watching it's obvious by now, but that is because this lamp turns on when red is on and the slaughter factory turns on when red is on. So it's kind of a cool little system that replenishes itself and turns off as needed. And if I wanted to get really fancy, what I could do is have a sensor looking at this mob crusher to say, hey, you know what? If this mob crusher is full of items, then just turn on the lights and stop everything from spawning. Just to kind of, reduce lag. I always like to build my machines and my worlds smart. Or not smart, but just like they turn themselves off if they don't need to run. It's allowed me to have a really stable world for a really long time. So I think it's a good tip to share, especially if you're playing on servers, which are horrible for people letting their machines get out of control. I think that's basically it. I think when I build one of these in my actual world, I'm going to build mob duplicators. Whoops, typo. Mob duplicators. These things are kind of cool. You basically take, if you're not familiar with these, mob imprisonment tools, you catch something like a creeper, and you would stick it in here. Whoops, wrong one. And if it had fluid essence, in here, it would spawn creepers. And so what I like to do is build a really tall tower that has columns of these things in it with different types of mobs. And I could use XNet to actually control it. I could use XNet to pump in, whoops, all this essence right here. I could pump all that out of the crusher. I could pump it into here. And I could turn it on and off based on my needs. So let's say, hey, my gunpowder's getting kind of low. Turn on just creepers and they would fall in. Or like, let's say, my wither skeletons. That's a good one. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Skeletons. You capture one of these guys in the nether. You throw it in that duplicator and you have him fall. So he's just basically collecting you heads. Fun, fun, fun. And this chamber never got used. I was going to show setting this up, but I think it's just as good talking through it. So yeah, I hope somebody might find this useful one day. I thought it was kind of a neat little self-sustaining system. And yeah,